The ground shook with each blast, smoke rising into the sky like dark fingers trying to choke the sun. War had turned the once green valley into a place of fire and ash. Bodies lay still, both human and alien, some burnt, some broken, all silent. Now, the smell of smoke and metal filled the air, and the cries of the dying echoed far into the hills. Through the chaos, a single sound rose, a soft voice, crying, trembling, "Please. Please don't kill me," the voice begged. It came from behind a broken alien transport, half buried in rubble. The voice belonged to a young alien woman, her skin a soft silver gray. Glowing faintly in the smoke, her large purple eyes were full of tears, and her hands shook as she held them up. She was not holding a weapon, only her own broken body. One leg was bleeding badly, and her arm was twisted in a way that looked painful. 3 soldiers from the human side stood near her, guns pointed, faces hard. They saw only the enemy. "Not a girl begging for life. She's one of them," one soldier growled. "Her people burned villages, killed children," another soldier raised his gun higher, finger resting on the trigger. "She's no innocent," he said. "No mercy." But before he could fire, someone stepped in front of him. A tall human in dirty armor, his helmet cracked, and his face smeared with dust and blood. His name was Logan. He raised his hand slowly. "Blocking the gun? Stand down," he said quietly. The other soldiers stared at him, confused. "Are you serious, Logan?" "She's the enemy. She's not holding a weapon," Logan replied, eyes fixed on the girl. "She's wounded, terrified, and begging for mercy." The girl looked up at him, her lips trembling. She didn't speak his language, but she could feel something in his eyes. He wasn't like the others. Logan slowly stepped forward, lowering his weapon. The other soldiers watched in disbelief. "Have you lost your mind?" one asked. She could be a spy. Logan knelt beside her, gently placing his hand on her shoulder. The girl flinched at first, but then she stopped. He offered her water from his pack, holding it up. She looked at it, then at him, unsure. Slowly, she reached for it, her hands still shaking. She took a sip, and her body relaxed just a little. The tension in the air didn't break, but it bent. The soldiers behind him didn't lower their guns. They whispered to each other, angry, confused. "Logan's lost it," one muttered. "That thing's gonna stab him the moment he turns." But Logan didn't care. He looked at the girl again. She was no older than 20, maybe younger. Her face was dirty, her clothes torn. Whatever war she was part of, it had already destroyed her life. He remembered a moment long ago when a child in a human village begged for mercy from alien raiders. No one helped that child, and that memory never left him. Now, here he was, with a chance to do what no one had done that day. He stood up and faced the other soldiers. "She's coming with me," he said. "What?" one shouted. "You're going to protect her." "Ah, she's a prisoner now," Logan said. "And we don't kill prisoners." There was silence. Heavy and thick, the wind picked up, carrying dust across the ruined battlefield. The soldiers exchanged looks, unsure what to do. But Logan didn't wait for their approval. He bent down and gently lifted the girl into his arms. She gasped, but didn't fight. Her body was weak, her eyes filled with confusion and fear. Logan walked away, holding her like she mattered. Behind him, the other soldiers watched, some angry, some thoughtful. None followed. As Logan carried the alien girl through the wreckage, she closed her eyes and whispered something in her own language. He didn't understand the words, but he felt the meaning. "Thank you." For the first time in many battles, Logan felt something in his chest that wasn't hate or anger. It was something quiet, something warm. He didn't know what would happen next. Maybe he would be arrested for this, maybe worse. But in that moment, he didn't care. He had listened to the cry for mercy. and he had answered somewhere behind him. The war still raged, but for that one soul, the battle was over, and for Logan, something new had begun, something that felt a lot like hope. Logan carried Kelly through the smoky valley, his steps heavy, the air filled with dust and silence. Behind them, the battlefield faded away, but the danger did not. He had just broken military code by saving her. His comlink buzzed with angry voices, commands and threats, but he turned it off. He didn't want orders anymore. Not when they meant killing someone begging for mercy. Kelly, the alien girl in his arms, trembled with each movement. She was burning with fever, her wounds infected. Still, she didn't cry. She just looked at him silent, confused, and tired. Logan found an abandoned farm bunker, hidden under collapsed trees. He laid her down gently, wrapped her in a survival blanket, and checked her injuries. Her skin was torn near the thigh, and her ribs showed bruises in deep purple. He used what little med gel he had. She hissed in pain, but didn't fight him as he wrapped her leg. She watched him closely. He spoke slowly, hoping she would understand. "You're safe here for now." She didn't answer. But her hands slightly moved toward his, not to attack, just to feel. It was a small gesture, but it said more than words. The next morning, Logan went out quietly. Searching for water and food, he found a small stream, but no clean supplies. Enemy patrols flew overhead, scanning the area. He stayed low, every step filled with tension. When he returned, Kelly was awake. Sitting up slightly, she tried to stand, but fell. Logan caught her before she hit the ground. "You're not ready," he whispered. She looked at him with those wide eyes, filled with pain and confusion. Then she spoke broken English, rough but clear. "Why? Not kill me." Logan blinked, surprised that she knew any of his language. He sat beside her and answered softly, "Because you didn't deserve it." She stared at him, her expression unreadable. Then she whispered, "No one ever say that." For a while, neither of them spoke outside. The wind moved broken trees like ghosts whispering through branches. That night, Logan dreamed of his past. He remembered his sister, killed in a surprise alien attack. Her scream had haunted him for years. He had sworn to never show mercy to their kind again. But now, here he was, guarding one, healing one, protecting one. Was he betraying his own pain? Or was he finally breaking the chain of hate? When he woke up, Kelly was asleep beside a small fire, curled like a child. He noticed something strange on her shoulder. Under torn cloth, a scar shaped like a flame with a star in the center. It wasn't just a wound, it looked like a symbol. He didn't ask her yet, but it burned in his mind. Who was she really? She wasn't just a soldier, and someone, somewhere, would come looking for her later that day. Their silence was broken by a sound footsteps. Logan quickly pulled Kelly behind him, weapon ready. 3 alien scouts appeared, armored, searching the ruins. Kelly gasped. One of them was her brother, but he looked different now, colder, harder. She whispered to Logan, "He will not help me." Logan believed her. The scouts passed nearby, but didn't see them. After they left, Kelly sat in the corner, holding her knees, her breath shallow. "My own people want me dead," she whispered. Logan didn't know what to say. This war wasn't just between humans and aliens anymore. It was deeper inside families, inside hearts. Logan sat down beside her. "Then we survived together," he said. Kelly looked at him. And for the first time, her lips curled into a tiny, tired smile. She nodded slowly in that broken bunker. 2 enemies shared bread, warmth, and pain. They didn't have a plan or a future, but in that moment, they had trust. And that was more than either of them had felt in a long time. The cold wind blew through the cracks of the bunker as Kelly lay still. Logan sat near the fire, watching her sleep. Her breathing was slow, soft, and calm for once. But his eyes stayed on the strange mark burned into her skin. That scar was not from war, not from battle. It was a shape. Smooth and precise, like a symbol made on purpose. A flame wrapped around a star. Glowing slightly in the firelight, he waited until morning to ask her, when the sun broke through. The dust clouds. She opened her eyes slowly. Logan handed her a warm drink, and she sipped it in silence. Then he spoke gently, not wanting to scare her. "The scar on your shoulder," he said. "What is it?" Kelly paused, her face suddenly serious. Her fingers touched the spot. Almost like she forgot it was there. She looked down, her voice low. "My family's mark," she whispered. "It means I was born from the royal blood." Logan froze. He hadn't expected that. He thought she was a refugee, maybe a low-ranking soldier. "Not royalty." Kelly kept her eyes on the ground. "My people don't want me," she said. "They fear the blood that runs in me. They fear what I might become." She looked up at him with quiet sadness. "Some think I should rule. Others think I should die." Logan leaned back, stunned. He had saved more than just a girl. He had unknowingly taken in someone powerful, someone dangerous, and now both sides wanted her gone. His people for what she was, her people for what she could be. He rubbed his face, the weight of it settling on his shoulders. "This scar," he said slowly, "means they'll never stop hunting you." Kelly nodded, her hands tightening around the cup. "You still want to help me?" she asked. Logan didn't answer right away. He thought of all the lives lost, the hatred, the war, and then he thought of her shivering, scared, bleeding on the battlefield. He thought of the way she looked at him now, not as a soldier, but as a person. "I didn't save a queen," he said. "I saved a girl who asked for mercy." Kelly looked at him, her lips trembling slightly for a moment. She looked like she might cry, but she didn't. Instead, she whispered, "Then I will follow you." Until the end, Logan stood and began gathering his things. "We can't stay here," he said. "They'll search again." She tried to get up, but stumbled. Without a word, he caught her and pulled her arm over his shoulder. Together, they left the bunker and moved toward the mountains. That night, they found shelter in a cave, dark and quiet. Logan built a small fire and checked his scanner. Red dots appeared on the screen drones. Getting closer, they had maybe one or two. Days before being surrounded, "We need to find someone who can hide us," Logan said. Kelly's voice was weak. "There is one, far north, in the Cloud Hills. He was a friend to my family." "If he still lives," Logan nodded, "we'll find him." The next day, they began the climb. The path was steep, cold wind cutting across the cliffs. Kelly's legs slowed them down, but she didn't complain. She pushed herself step after step, and Logan stayed beside her the entire way. That night, as they camped beneath a frozen overhang, she turned to him. "If they catch us," she said softly, "don't let them take me alive." Logan's eyes met hers. "No," he replied, "they won't catch us at all." Suddenly, there was a distant sound, shouting engines, lights in the sky. Logan pulled her close, covering her with his body. A patrol ship flew overhead. Scanning with beams of blue, they held their breath, not moving. The light passed once, twice, then disappeared into the dark. They waited in silence, hearts pounding. Only when the sounds were truly gone did Logan speak. "They're getting too close." Kelly leaned her head on his shoulder. "I am sorry," she said. "You should have left me. Now you are hunted too." Logan looked at the stars above. Them, cold and distant. "I've done things I'm not proud of," he said, "but saving you isn't one of them." He didn't know why he felt so strongly about her. Maybe it was the way she never gave up, even when broken. Maybe it was the way she still hoped for kindness in a cruel galaxy. But whatever it was, it made him choose her again and again. And tomorrow, he would do it again. The snow began to fall as Logan and Kelly reached the frozen ridges. The path was narrow, winding between cliffs where one wrong step meant death. Kelly's breath came in short gasps, her leg weaker than ever. Still, she didn't ask to stop. She kept moving, even when her hands turned blue with cold. Logan guided her carefully, holding her arm when the ice got too slick. Above them, the clouds were thick and heavy, hiding drones and eyes that might be watching. At last, they spotted an old outpost half buried under ice and stone. Kelly whispered, "This place was once ours. He might still be here." Logan didn't ask who. He helped her through the rusted door and into the silence inside. The outpost was dark, but still standing. Old machines lined the walls, most broken or dead. Kelly called out softly in her language. No answer. They moved deeper inside until a door opened slowly at the far end. A figure stepped into view, and alien male. Older, scarred, wearing a long coat and metal gloves. His eyes widened when he saw Kelly. "By the stars, it's you," he whispered. Kelly stepped forward, tears in her voice. "Tarn, you're alive." He moved to her quickly, wrapping her in a shaky embrace. "I thought they killed you," he said. "Your mother, your sister." They all vanished. Kelly nodded, her eyes wet. "I survived because of him," she said, motioning toward Logan. Tarn looked at Logan with cold eyes. A human. Logan stayed still, hands near his weapon just in case, but Tarn didn't attack. Instead, he waved them inside. "You both need food and warmth," he said. "Come, rest." They sat around a heater that hummed with weak energy. Tarn brought dried alien fruit and warm broth. Kelly ate slowly, her body relaxing. Logan didn't eat much. He kept watching Tarn. Something didn't feel right, the way Tarn looked at Kelly. It was off, too much tension in his jaw, too much silence in his movements. Late that night, while Kelly slept in a quiet room, Tarn pulled Logan aside. "You should leave her here," he said sharply. "She's safer with me," Logan replied. Tarn stepped closer, voice dropping low. "She's dangerous, and you don't understand what she is." "She's not a threat," Logan snapped. Tarn's expression twisted. "She has power, Logan. Her blood can awaken ancient weapons. Ones we sealed away for a reason. If the wrong ones find her, they will use her to destroy entire worlds." Logan's fists clenched. She begged for mercy. "Tarn, she didn't ask for power. She just wants to live." Tarn looked away, whispering, "You don't know her like I do." Logan didn't sleep that night. He kept his weapon close, watching the hallway in case Tarn tried anything. At dawn, Logan found Kelly near the window, watching the snowfall. He walked up beside her and asked, "Do you trust him?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said softly, "I did, when I was a child. He was like family. But now, I feel something strange." Logan nodded. "We're leaving." They packed quickly, thanking Tarn, but not saying why they were leaving early. Tarn didn't try to stop them. He only smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. They left the outpost, moving fast through the narrow pass, but they hadn't gone far when they heard the sound ships closing in fast. Logan's face darkened. He told them, "Where we are." Kelly's breath caught, her eyes wide. "Why?" Logan didn't answer. He grabbed her hand and pulled her down a hidden path he noticed earlier. Behind them, spotlights cut through the sky, followed by gunfire. The snow exploded around them. Logan returned fire, one bullet, then another, covering Kelly. As she ran, they ducked into a crack between the cliffs, hearts pounding, breath smoking in the cold air. Kelly's hands were bleeding from the sharp rocks. Still, she didn't cry. She just looked at Logan and whispered, "I trusted him. He was all I had left." Logan looked back the way they came. "That's not true anymore," he said. "You have me." They crawled through the rock tunnel until it opened into a frozen ravine. Far above, the ships kept scanning, but they were hidden for now. They sat in the snow, side by side, exhausted but alive. Kelly turned to Logan, her voice shaking. "If I had died that day, this would never have happened." Logan shook his head. "No, Kelly, if you had died, mercy would have died with you. And without mercy, this war will never end." She looked at him, and something changed in her eyes. Not fear, not sadness, but fire. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small, glowing stone. "This was given to me as a child," she whispered. "Only someone who shows true mercy can activate it." Logan stared at it, confused. The stone pulsed once in his hand when she placed it there, soft, warm, alive. Kelly looked at him with new strength. "Maybe the future needs someone like you." Logan didn't know what it meant yet, but he felt the weight of destiny settling on his shoulders. They weren't just running anymore, they were heading towards something far greater. The frozen ravine gave them shelter for only one night. By morning, Logan knew they had to move again. The skies above buzzed with search drones and heat scans grew sharper. They couldn't hide much longer. Logan decided to head toward the old transport lines where abandoned tunnels ran through. The mountains, Kelly followed, limping slightly, the cold slowing her. But her spirit burned brighter now, since handing him the glowing stone. She had become quieter but more focused, as if something inside her had awakened. They reached a steel tunnel entrance by nightfall. Hidden beneath a broken bridge, inside, it was dark and damp, with wires hanging like vines and echoes stretching. Forever, they walked in silence, the only sound their steps and distant drips of water. But halfway through, it happened. A sharp crack of metal echoed and suddenly lights burst on all around them. Figures stepped from the shadows, armored, weapons raised. Logan tried to reach for his gun, but a stun blast hit him first. Kelly screamed as soldiers grabbed her, pulling her away. "Logan!" she cried before another blast silenced her voice. He hit the ground hard, his vision swimming. The last thing he saw was her being dragged away into the tunnel light. Then darkness, when Logan woke. He was chained in a cold cell, his body. Aching blood dried along his neck, and his wrists burned from metal cuffs. Two guards stood outside, talking in hushed voices. Why save her? One muttered, "He risked everything for an alien." The other spat, "He's gone soft." "She's not even a soldier, just a cursed bloodline freak." Logan didn't say a word. He closed his eyes and waited. Hours passed, or maybe days. He wasn't sure anymore, but then he heard a Kelly's voice, crying from a distance. It wasn't loud, but it cut through the walls like a blade. She was in pain, and they were doing something to her. That was all Logan needed. He faked a seizure, slamming himself against the wall again and again until the guards opened the door. As soon as one stepped in, Logan struck head first, then elbow. The guard dropped instantly. Logan grabbed the other's weapon and fired a stun shot. He ripped the keycard from the belt and unlocked his cuffs. Blood rushed back into his arms as he staggered. Out of the cell, sirens began to scream. Red lights flashing across the corridor, Logan moved quickly. Hiding behind pipes and shadowed corners, he followed the sound of her voice. Down a hall, past a lab, through a locked door he blasted open, and there Kelly, strapped to a chair. Weak and bruised, but alive, her eyes widened when she saw him. "You came," she whispered. "I told you I would," he said, kneeling beside her, breaking the bonds with his knife. She collapsed into his arms, trembling. They were trying to draw power from my blood," she said. "They think I'm a weapon." "You're not," Logan said. "You're more than that." He lifted her gently and carried her through the hallway. Alarms echoed louder, and footsteps followed. Soldiers came from both sides, weapons raised. Logan didn't hesitate. He dropped smoke grenades, fired back, and kept moving. He took hits, one in the shoulder, another grazing his leg, but he didn't stop. Kelly clung to him, whispering directions, guiding him to the emergency hangar. It was their only chance as they burst through the final doors. A small scout ship came into view, old, rusted, but flyable. Logan placed Kelly inside and sealed the hatch. He powered up the engines as bullets ricocheted off the metal walls. "Hang on," he muttered, blood dripping from his arm. With a roar, the ship lifted, crashing through the exit bay into open sky. Missiles followed, but Logan flew low, fast, weaving through mountain canyons. Inside the cockpit, Kelly pulled herself up, pressing bandages to his wounds. "You're hurt," she said, voice tight with fear. "So are you," he smiled weakly. "We're even." She touched his hand and whispered, "No one has ever done this for me. Not my people, not my family. Only you." Logan glanced at her, eyes heavy with pain, but full of something stronger. "I didn't save you because of your blood. I saved you because you asked." Their ship soared through the clouds. Into the stars beyond, below them, the prison burned, its systems collapsing. Kelly leaned against him, and for the first time in her life, she didn't feel like a weapon. She felt like someone who mattered, and beside her, the human warrior, who answered her cry for mercy, bleeding, broken but unshaken. The stars outside the window passed in silence. Logan sat in the pilot's seat, patched up and pale, his eyes fixed on the controls. Kelly sat beside him, watching him more than the stars. She could feel the weight in the air, like they had stepped into something bigger than war. Their ship was old and low on fuel, but it flew fast and quiet. And for now, no one was chasing them, but they both knew it wouldn't last. Kelly turned toward the back of the ship, opening a hidden panel Logan hadn't noticed before. Inside was a small device, glowing softly, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. "What is that?" Logan asked, voice rough from pain. Kelly stared at it, her hands shaking slightly. "This is my inheritance," she said. "The heart of Ilrea, it holds memory, power, prophecy." Logan frowned, confused. "Is it dangerous?" Kelly didn't answer immediately. She sat beside the device and placed both hands on it. The glow grew brighter, and for a moment, images danced in the air, cities lost, stars dying, voices crying. Then came one final image, a human, standing in fire, holding Kelly's hand. She opened her eyes slowly, tears rolling down her cheek. "It chose you," she whispered. Logan shook his head. "I'm just a soldier." "No," she said. "You're the one who showed mercy." The heart responds to that, and now the galaxy will see it. Meanwhile, across the systems, news of the prison break spread like wildfire. The escape of the royal blood girl with a human warrior became the talk of every command center and rebel base. Some feared it, some cheered, some wanted them dead, but all of them paid attention. A single photo leaked a blurry image of Logan carrying Kelly through flames. It became a symbol. Some called it rebellion. Others called it hope, but no one could ignore it. The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting in the Tower of Stars. Admirals, governors, and shadowed voices argued over screens and holograms. "She must be captured," one said. "She carries ancient blood. Kill them both," another barked, "before they spark a second war." But one older ambassador stood quietly and said, "What if this is a second chance?" The room fell silent. He continued, "Humanity gave her mercy. We gave her chains. Maybe the problem is us." His words didn't win votes, but they planted seeds back aboard the ship. Logan checked their nav system. "We need somewhere safe," he said. Kelly leaned over the screen and pointed. "There," she said. "An old moon. Sacred ground. My mother once hid there. Logan set course. And the ship turned slowly toward the glowing curve of a quiet, forgotten world. It was covered in mist and trees that glowed faint blue at night. They landed in silence, hiding the ship under thick forest vines. Logan helped Kelly walk through the cold grass, toward a ruin made of crystal and stone. Inside, she knelt and placed the heart of Ilrea at the center. The walls lit up, ancient symbols glowing one by one. Logan stepped back, awestruck. "What is this place?" Kelly whispered, "A sanctuary of my people, and maybe our last hope." But as the lights glowed brighter, a shadow watched them from the trees. A figure in dark armor, face hidden, weapon humming low. He didn't strike. Not yet. He pressed a button on his wrist and whispered into a mic. "They're here, and the heart has been activated." Across the stars, messages were sent, ships launched, and war drums began to beat again. But this time, the girl they wanted dead was no longer afraid, and the human who stood beside her was no longer alone. Something was rising, something powerful, ancient, and born from mercy. Logan and Kelly stood in the center of it, not knowing what would come next, but ready to face it together. The ancient temple glowed brighter than ever. The heart of Ilrea floated above the altar now, spinning slowly, humming like a living star. Its light reached beyond the trees, sending a signal no one could block. Kelly stood in the center, the wind pulling at her white cloak, her silver skin glowing faintly. Logan stood behind her, rifle across his back, eyes scanning the forest edge. He felt it in his chest. This was it. The final moment. Kelly turned to him, her voice soft but steady. "They're coming." Logan nodded. "Let them." Above them, warships began to arrive one by one. They blocked out the sky, human ships, alien cruisers, even mercenary fleets drawn by fear and profit. Every side had sent their best to stop one thing. Her soldiers landed in the forest, weapons ready, voices sharp. Kelly of the blood flame. A voice shouted through speakers, "Surrender the heart, or we will take it by force." Kelly didn't move. Her eyes glowed with something new, not fear, but fire. Logan stepped beside her, his voice calm and loud. "Come closer, and you'll find more than just words waiting." The first line of soldiers stepped forward. Logan raised his weapon, but Kelly raised her hand. "Wait," she whispered. The heart pulsed, once, twice, then exploded with a wave of soft light. The soldiers froze, not from pain, but from memory. They saw things moments from their past. One saw his daughter's face, laughing. Another saw the friend he lost in the first invasion. A third dropped his gun and fell to his knees. Crying, Kelly walked toward them slowly. Her voice echoed across the battlefield. "I was born to end this war, not to rule it. I asked for mercy. A human gave it to me. You call me dangerous, but I carry no weapon. I carry hope." One soldier fired. Breaking the silence, the bullet flew past her, missing by inches, and hit Logan. He dropped to one knee, gasping, blood blooming across his chest. Kelly turned with a scream, catching him before he fell. "No," she whispered, holding him close. "Stay with me." He smiled weakly, still. "Here," he said, voice thin around them. Soldiers began lowering their weapons. The shooter was tackled by his own commander. Kelly pressed her hand to Logan's chest, the heart glowing beside them. It pulsed in sync with her heartbeat, and then with his. The wound didn't heal, but the bleeding slowed. The heart of Ilera responded not with power, but with balance. Kelly stood, lifting the heart above her head. Her voice rang across the forest. "This is the last time we point guns at each other. This is the last time we kill for flags. For blood, for fear. No more." Silence followed, long, deep, heavy, and then, one by one, soldiers dropped their weapons. A human general stepped forward and said, "We were told you were a threat." Kelly nodded. "I was," she said. "Until he showed me another path." The general looked at Logan, still on his knees, bleeding but alive. "What do we do now?" he asked. Kelly looked at the heart, now fading slowly. Its light dim but peaceful. "We built something better," she said. Logan was taken to a medical ship, Kelly never leaving his side. News spread across the galaxy, how the girl they feared stopped the armies. Not with fire, but with forgiveness. How a human warrior stood alone against war itself. And they became a story, a myth, a memory that would not fade. Some called them fools, others called them saviors. But everyone remembered them, and in quiet corners of the galaxy, where fear once ruled, new hope began to grow. Because one day, on a field of war, a girl begged for mercy and a human answered.